Alright, so as I was saying, it's pretty easy to bend a needle without crimping it. You know, granted, if you want a fishhook shape, then yeah, you might want to use an eyelet for that. But pretty much what I do, the trick is don't stay in one spot while you're bending. This is an 18 gauge needle, so this guy's easy. You just slowly move farther out on the needle as you go. You can see there's no crimps. It's bent, but there's no crimps on the actual needle. So that's an 18 gauge needle. Now 16 gauge needle. And yeah, it's opening the package, touching the needle. I'm not piercing anybody, just so you guys can see. Don't cry baby about it. Same thing now, 16 gauge needle. Just slowly kind of wiggle and go. And if you want, you can always, you know, cover the tip with gauze so you're not actually hitting yourself. But there we go again. No crimps. You know, if you wanted to crimp it, just stay in one spot. And yeah, there you can crimp it because you stayed in one spot and put too much pressure on that singular spot. So 16 gauge needle. 14 gauge needle. Still kind of the same thing. You can still bend it, but this is about the max that I feel you can get without crimping. And with the 14, you definitely want to be a little more careful and just slowly keep following out. But still, bent needle, no crimping. Now here's a 12. This is where it gets dicey and harder. So you can still bend it, not as much, and it's much harder on your fingers. But even on the 12, still no crimp if you just need a slight arc. Any more, and yeah, it starts to crimp. You can see the crimp starting right there. Maybe, not sure if this iPhone camera works good enough. Now, O needle. This is a 16 gauge O needle, which means it's 14 gauge. From an Adametal. Same thing with this guy, and I find I do this to give us a little bit of a handle when you're twisting for it. So, but still, again, no crimp. You can do it by hand. Just gotta practice. Make your little pups strong and calloused. Okay, and we're done. Alright guys, so a quick little video to show you how to bend these great little receiving tubes. This idea came from Greg Marchessault, who works at Outer Limits, for forward helixes and traguses, just to make a little crack pipe shape. So these are pretty much needle blanks. You can order them from industrial strength needles. You know, any needle manufacturer should be able to get you needle blanks, which means it's just the tubing before they turn it into a needle. So I've got a 12 gauge and an 11 gauge here. I already bent them, and then I have an 8 gauge needle blank. And the easiest way to do it, so let's see, here is, I'll do the other end because I bent all of mine up. So just take one, put it in to the larger needle blank, and then you can just bend down, and you can get your little shape like that. Same thing, the thicker ones. Just put it in there, and then boom, and you've got your little receiving tube. So that's the way to bend them. I'm sure you can hit Greg up as he's around, and he can tell you more about it, but it works really great for forward helixes because you can just put it behind, push a little forward, and it keeps everything all lined up and great. And that's it.